Hello, I'm Joel.
And I'm Alex.
Welcome to the Commander's Journey, the place where we discuss the best format of Magic, Commander, from the perspective of a new player
And an experienced one.
This journey is for new Magic players who are interested in Commander. Now, before my buddy Alex came over here to record this episode, he picked up a pack, right? The Throne of Eldraine, that's the set that's out right now. And he just wanted to get his juices rolling, and he didn't realize he was going to, pick this pack.
I went in for a pack, and this is just like a garbage pack. No other way to say it.
It's a crap pack. This is why some people say, no, you shouldn't go just buy individual packs. You should buy the whole box.
And they're right. No,
a bundle.
They should buy singles. That's the
or
correct
singles,
thing to do.
especially in Commander. You want to buy singles.
You buy singles all the time, forever.
No, I don't agree with that. One of the first packs I opened up, I got a Planeswalker, and this was before the Spark.
Opening packs are fun.
It is fun.
And drafting is fun. This would be an interesting draft pack just because it's such a terrible pack. You're like, what do I pick? This is
That's
not
because
good.
you have no really expensive, powerful cards.
That's not even I don't have any expensive. The best card in this pack, just for all you more limited oriented players before, I think is a Flaxen Intruder, which is still really expensive, but it's a slower
I think it's a good card, though.
It's a good card. No, I mean, it's not a bad
and
card.
the artwork's pretty cool.
It just, if I'm first picking that, and let me just be honest, the rest of the pack does not get there. That it doesn't. Like, the only other thing that's any of note is I do have a Searing Barrage, which is a decent removal spell.
Okay, so your rare card you got, what'd you get here? Return of the Wild Speaker. That's a pretty good card.
I think it actually could be okay in a Commander deck. And if you get kind of lucky as you're drafting, I could see that. But I don't know if I want to first pick that thing. Maybe I would, but
So he's trying to get his juices up. He comes over to my place,
yeah.
and he's like, "Oh!" And so now we gotta.
No, I think I'd first pick Flaxen Intruder or the removal spell over. Maybe I'm just underestimating Eternal. I don't know. This isn't a limited podcast.
This is a call out. This is a call out that we should have somewhat instead of, because now we got draft packs. We got
No, don't even do it, Joel.
What other kind of?
That's the problem. What other kind of packs? Like, we got 15 of them.
There's the ones that help you boost your different colors, like booster packs.
The color specific ones. I don't even know what they're called.
There's the fancy ones, right? They're the expensive ones for the collectors, right?
The collectors packs.
This is a call out that there should be some Commander packs.
Oh, I agree, actually.
I see. Let's just add another to the mix. There's already so many out there.
They did do a thing where they asked people's opinions on Commander. They did like a survey that Wizard does every now and again. And one of the things they did ask said, would you buy a product that you did not know what Commander-oriented stuff you'd get? It was kind of random. Would that be something you'd be interested in? So I think Wizards are running the same line of idea. We're calling it now on the Commander's Journey. 3 years from now, we'll get Commander packs.
I want them sooner than that. I'm not going to wait 2 or 3 years. I think they should do it next year.
Well, if they're just thinking about it now, it's going to take a while.
Yeah. I just think it'd be cool. But, I mean, that's just my thought. Yeah, it'd probably be expensive, just like the collector's packs. But
depends how good the cards are.
I'm down. Okay, but today, what we're really going to talk about is the top 5 budget cards in blue for card draw. And we're going to do a bunch of these episodes. We're talking about some top 5 cards. And we want to talk about budget cards in particular because it can get expensive building a Commander deck.
Exactly, especially if you're new. It's the first time you're building a deck. We want to keep the price ranges from shooting out wildly, especially for some of these more core required cards that you need in your deck. Mm-hmm. So when we say budget, we mean under $2, and that's of the time of recording.
Exactly, because, I mean, think about it. If you're going to fill your deck up with 100 cards and you spend $2 on every card, that's $200 right there. So it's good to try and have a lot of these cards that fall in that range. And then, of course, you're going to spend a few more bucks on cards you really like. But for card draw, it's something you're going to need a bunch of cards in your deck for that. These are some great ones. And blue does it the best. That's why we're going to talk about the 5 budget cards in blue for card draw.
Exactly. So we're going to start with our number 5 pick. Mm-hmm. That is Archanis the Omnipotent. It's 3 blue for a legendary creature wizard. Tap, draw 3 cards, 2 blue and a blue. Return Archanis the Omnipotent to its owner's hand. It's a 3/4.
Exactly. And it's 3 and blue, blue, blue.
Oh, did I miss a blue?
Yeah, I think you said 2 blues.
So many blues.
Yep. Cost 6 altogether.
Thanks for catching that, Joel.
Yep. It's a great card. I really like this card. It is the CMC is pretty high, but the card itself is just really, I think, powerful.
Oh, it's very powerful. I think its biggest drawback is the fact, A, it's a creature, and B, it's the fact that unless you have some way to give it haste, you have to wait that cycle so your opponents have the chance to remove it. But it is one of the more powerful cards, especially for card draw, if not one of the top ones. Actually, no, I'm willing to say it's one of the top creatures that it's card draw oriented. That if I see it on the other side of the board, I'm looking at ways I want to remove it, because once that thing taps even just once, you really got your value out of it.
For sure. And I'm just noticing this right now as we're doing this. I wasn't looking at this earlier, but it's a legendary creature.
That's what I was saying.
Which means you can make it your commander.
Yeah.
The fact that on it, you just tap it to draw 3 every turn. And at any point, I guess as long as it's not tapped, right? You can do the 2 blue and a blue to return it.
You can do it if it's tapped.
Even
if
when
it's
it's
not
tapped?
yeah, it's
so
irrelevant.
it's like bouncing it right back to your hand. If somebody was going to wipe it, you can response.
That's exactly what it's there for.
Return it to your owner's hand.
It's a self-protection thing. As long as you're willing to leave up the mana, it's going to be safe. And generally what happens is you kind of overextend the turn you play it, unless you get it really late in the game. And, that way you can't really protect it very well. There's a lot of logic to waiting to make sure you have that extra amount to bounce it back to your hand.
I think it's a really cool card. Even though it's going to cost you 6 to get out on the battlefield, the fact that you can just tap it to draw 3 every turn, it's a really good budget card for card draw for sure.
There you go.
All right, and our number 4 is Future Sight. It's 2, a blue, blue, blue for an enchantment. Play with the top of your play with the top card of your library revealed, and you may play the top card of your library.
So this is, you're not drawing this card ever, so maybe this is a misnomer. But that is definitely an extra card you have access to every time. And in fact, you get to always have an extra card in your hand than you'd otherwise have.
Exactly. Now you got to play with it reveal, which means everybody's going to see it. It's just true. You flip the top card on your deck over, but it does give you that 1 extra card. So it's like if you have 7 in your hand, it's really like you have 8.
Exactly. Or if you have, 15 in your hand, you actually have 16.
Yes.
That's how.
But you have to have other cards on the field that allow you to have a hand bigger than 7. So I wasn't going to go there.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
This is enjoyable.
Yeah, it's good. It's all the energy you got after opening that crap pack.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh man, Future Sight. Anyway, the artwork's really cool on it too.
It's a good card. It is legitimately, it's one of those ones that you'll have a lot of value, and even if you don't get necessarily the surprise factor, you'll still draw it. You'll still have access, but the fact you get an extra card every turn is a very powerful ability. Plus, enchantment, it's hard to remove because of it.
Exactly, yeah. People, when they're board wiping or they're removing, they're not always aiming to enchantments. They're usually aiming towards creatures most of the time.
Exactly.
So yeah, it'll stick around for a minute and help you out.
So the next card is Pull from Tomorrow. X blue and a blue for an instant. Draw X cards and then discard a card. I think this has one of the coolest card names, Joel.
Pull from Tomorrow. Our top 3.
Number 3.
And number 3 for our top 5. Pull from Tomorrow. Why is that such a cool term for you?
I don't know. It just sounds like this is one of those spells that, like, if I were thinking I'm really in like a game of magic, like I was like a real thing, like that just sounds like a name of a magical spell I would use. I mean, some of them do, but
so if you were like a planeswalker walking around battling,
yeah, exactly. I could imagine myself constantly pulling from tomorrow for today.
Oh,
sounds like a tomorrow problem.
It does sound like a tomorrow problem. That's almost as cheesy as that 7 dwarves joke you were trying to make earlier.
Oh God! I also got one of the 7 dwarves in this pack.
Yes.
But anyways, Pull from Tomorrow. It's a good card. It's flexible. In fact, you get to constantly draw. It scales with you because you can draw X, and you can also keep up mana with it. You're not necessarily have to go all out. And it's an instant, which means you can do it at the end of their turn if you're planning to hold up a counter spell and then didn't use it. So you're like, I'm just going to draw a bunch of cards instead. Exactly.
And sometimes you just need that extra bit of juice to get going. And mid-game, late game, it's great, these X spells, because, if you got nothing you can do, or like a hand that's very small, and you just like, but you got like 12 mana, and you're at that point towards an end game with an X spell and the 2 blue. I mean, you pay all your money, you're drawing 10 cards.
Yeah.
And so you'll have a chance to maybe do something or load up to do something the next turn.
Exactly.
Yep. And okay, our number 2 from our top 5 is Blue Sun's Zenith. It's X, blue, blue, blue for an instant. It says target player draws X cards. Shuffle Blue Sun Zenith into its owner's library. So it's a similar type of card.
It's very similar.
Sure.
And when we were building this list, I was really on the fence between, I could have seen them swapped. There's 2 big reasons why I ended up picking Blue Sun Zenith for 2 instead of 3 with Pull From Tomorrow. One of them is the fact its target player draws X cards. So this can be a win condition if you ever have infinite mana, or if you or someone's getting low on their deck, you can target your opponent with it instead.
And just completely mill them out.
Exactly.
Basically.
And the other big thing is the fact that it goes back into your library after you cast it. So for better or for worse, sometimes it might be a downside in some decks even. It goes back into your deck, and you can use it to protect yourself. Even, some people use this card to not mill themselves out when they go too much, because it goes back in the deck after you cast it. But mainly, I think it's worth that extra mana when you cast it, for the extra blue, to get both those effects.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're putting it back into your deck, especially if you're in blue and you're probably doing some sort of filtering and stuff, and you're just shuffling it back in, you're going to be, you might be able in that game to play it again, which would give you that extra value for sure. All right, our number 1.
Drum roll.
Oh, wait, drum roll.
I'm about to say. Joel actually did. I was going to do that to my audio engineer next to me and start rumbling on the right next to the microphone. It's pretty frowned upon.
It's a sound effect coming from the table into the microphone.
Just blow out the audio.
No, I'm not banging on the mic.
No,
I'm
you did.
banging
You're the
on
audio
the table.
engineer. I trust your ability to bang on the table versus me.
All right. What is our number 1?
Our number 1, this will be a big surprise. It's Muldrifter.
There you go.
Muldrifter. It's 4 and a blue for a creature elemental flying. When Muldrifter enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, but you can also cast it for its evoke cost, which is just 2 and a blue, which says when you do cast it for its evoke cost, you sacrifice it when it enters the battlefield. It is a 2/2.
So this thing you can use in 2 ways. You can either just use it to enter the battlefield and draw 2 cards, which would only cost you 3. It's evoke cost. So for 3 mana, you just get 2 cards, and it's like an instant almost. Well, not an instant. It's like a sorcery.
Yeah.
But if you pay 4 and a blue, not only do you get that effect, you also got a flying 2/2.
Exactly, and that's, I think, what sets this card apart, is the fact it's flexible. You can play it early if you need the cards, or if you'd, the 2/2 flying body is completely irrelevant, you can cast it for that instead. And just that flexibility and that ability to also bounce it back and forth, replay it, really gets a lot of that value.
Exactly, and a lot of times when you're a commander, you're looking at the board, and there's, the board state might be tilted against you. You might have a weak board, and somebody else has a really powerful board, and you don't just want to cast a card just to get cards, but not still be able to do anything or have anything to block or have anything on your battlefield. So this is great because it's like a 2-for-1, because you're getting cards, but you're also dropping a 2/2, which can allow you to chump block a flyer, basically. So it's really powerful. You're getting your card draw, and you're able to do something right away. A lot of times you're getting that card draw, but you might not be able to do anything until the next turn, which could set you back. So I think Muldrifter gets more value that way as well.
Exactly. And not to mention, too, there's something to be said for the fact that you can choose if you want to immediately sacrifice it and put it into the graveyard. Sometimes sacrificing creatures matter. Sometimes it's easier to play it again from your graveyard in your deck than it is to blink it. It really has a lot of built-in flexibility.
Yeah, because if you put it in the graveyard, you can recur it. It gets its ETB again, draws 2 more cards. Or you can just put it on the battlefield and then blink it, because you're in blue as well. White and blue like to blink, so, and then put it back on the battlefield and draw 2 more cards, or put it in a deck that has Panharmonicon or or a Yark deck where you get double the ETB. So there's a lot of flexible ways to use that card.
Definitely worthy of our number one spot.
All right, there you have it, our top 5. So counting down backwards, number 5 was Archanis the Omnipotent. Number 4, Future Sight. Our number 3, Pull from Tomorrow, which is your favorite phrase.
It's not my favorite phrase, but I do think it's a very, very cool card name.
Title of a spell.
It is my favorite title of a spell in the last 15 minutes. It's a very narrow field there.
Our number 2, Blue Sun Zenith, and our number 1 card, Mole Drifter. So if you need some blue cards for your commander deck and you need to draw some cards using blue, these are some great budget options right here.
You know, if I was building especially a mono blue based on how much blue mana we have in the deck, I could see a scenario where I pick all 5 of these up very easily.
Exactly. All right, well, that'll do it for this show. Thanks for listening.
Please leave us a comment and let us know what you think of the show.
And don't forget to subscribe, and we appreciate any and all feedback.
Exactly, whether it be on a podcast version or on YouTube, let us know how we did.
Exactly. Until next time.
See ya.